Some memories don't fade. They're not like old photographs that yellow at the edges. They're more like scars, permanent marks left on your mind that ache whenever it rains. For me, the rain started when I was 9, the year my dad got a promotion, and we moved into what my mom called our forever home in suburban Ohio. It was a 2-story colonial, the kind of house you see in movies about perfect American families. White siding, black shutters, and a sprawling oak tree in the front yard with a tire swing already hanging from a thick branch. It was the summer of '98. My little brother, Leo, was 5, and he was convinced the house was a castle. I wanted to believe him. The smell of fresh paint and old settled wood filled the air, a scent of new beginnings. But from the very first night, I knew something was wrong. My room was at the top of the stairs, overlooking the backyard. It was bigger than my old one, with a deep closet and a window seat perfect for reading. That night, tucked into a bed that still felt unfamiliar, I listened to the house breathe around me. Old houses make noises, my dad always said. They groan and settle. But this wasn't settling. It was a faint, rhythmic scratching coming from inside my closet. Scrape. Pause. Scrape. I told myself it was a mouse, a branch against the siding, anything but what it sounded like, a long fingernail dragging slowly down the wooden door from the inside. I pulled my comforter up to my nose, my heart thumping a frantic rhythm against my ribs. I squeezed my eyes shut and focused on the whir of the box fan until sleep finally took me. The next morning, I found 3 long, parallel scratches etched into the closet door, about level with my face. They were splintery and fresh. When I showed my mom, she sighed, running a hand through her hair. "You must have done it moving your desk, sweetie. Be more careful." I knew I hadn't. My desk was on the other side of the room. But when you're 9, your truth is just a story adults can choose to ignore. A week later, Leo started talking about the tall man. We were in the living room, building a city out of Legos. "The tall man doesn't like the red blocks," Leo said, his voice flat and serious. My mom, sorting mail at the kitchen counter, chuckled. "Oh yeah? Who's the tall man?" "He lives in the corner," Leo said, pointing toward the empty space where the wall met the fireplace. "He just watches. His arms are very, very long." A cold dread, heavy and metallic, bloomed in my stomach. My mom just ruffled his hair. "What an imagination you have!" But I saw it. The way Leo didn't smile. The way his eyes stayed fixed on that corner. He wasn't playing. The tall man became a regular part of our lives, at least for Leo. He'd leave a space for him at the dinner table. He'd talk to the empty air in his room. My parents treated it as a cute, if slightly weird phase, an imaginary friend, but I knew better. I felt him too. It was that prickling sensation on the back of your neck, the feeling of being watched when you're alone. I'd be doing homework at my desk and suddenly feel compelled to look at my closet, convinced the door was cracked open a little more than before. The nights were the worst. The scratching became more frequent. Sometimes it would be joined by a soft tapping on my window pane. I knew it was impossible. My room was on the 2nd floor with nothing but a sheer drop to the grass below. But the sound was undeniable. Tap, 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 tap. One night, I got the courage to peek through the blinds. For a split second, I saw it. A pale, slender hand pressed flat against the glass, its fingers impossibly long. I screamed and dove under my covers. My dad burst in, flipping on the light. "Alex, what is it? A nightmare?" I was sobbing, trying to explain about the hand. He went to the window, opened the blinds, and showed me the empty night. "See? Nothing there. Just the wind, buddy." He even opened the window to show me there was no ledge, no foothold, nothing. He thought he was reassuring me, but all he did was confirm that what I saw shouldn't have been there. My parents started to get frustrated. They thought I was acting out, looking for attention because of the move. My dad told me I needed to be a brave big brother for Leo. But how could I be brave when Leo was the one who seemed to have accepted our new roommate? One night, I woke up to the sound of Leo crying. Not his usual sleepy whimpering, but a terrified, high-pitched wail. I bolted out of bed and ran to his room. He was sitting up, pointing a trembling finger at his open closet. "He came out," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. That was it for me. I refused to sleep in my own room. After a huge argument, my mom finally relented and let me sleep on the floor in their bedroom. For a few weeks, things were quiet. I felt safe. I started to think maybe it really was all in my head. Then came the night of the storm. It was a classic Midwest thunderstorm, the kind that rattles the whole house. Wind howled and rain lashed against the windows. Sometime after midnight, a massive clap of thunder shook me awake. I sat up, my heart pounding. My parents were fast asleep. And then I heard it over the storm, a slow, deliberate creak from the hallway.
Our master bedroom door, which was always left slightly ajar, began to swing inward. I held my breath, expecting to see my dad getting up for water, but the shape that filled the doorway was wrong. It was too tall, too thin. It was a silhouette of a man, impossibly long and slender, whose head nearly brushed the top of the doorframe. It didn't move like a person. It just stood there, a void of darkness against the dim hallway. I was paralyzed. A scream caught in my throat like a shard of glass. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. The figure took a slow, silent step into the room. It turned its head, and even in the pitch black, I felt its gaze land on me. It raised one of its long, spindly arms and pointed a finger right at me. That's when I found my voice. I screamed, a raw, primal sound of pure terror. My dad shot up in bed, fumbling for the lamp. The light flooded the room, and the doorway was empty. There was nothing there. "Alex, what in God's name is wrong with you?" my dad yelled, his voice a mix of anger and fear. I was hysterical, pointing at the empty space, babbling about the tall man. This time, they didn't dismiss it as a dream. They saw the sheer, unadulterated terror in my eyes. The next day, my mom called a priest. He came over, walked through the house with a Bible and sprinkled holy water in every room. It felt like a scene from a movie, surreal and terrifying. For a while, it seemed to work. The house fell silent. Leo stopped talking about the tall man. We started to feel like a normal family again. We lived there for 3 more years, always with a low-level hum of anxiety beneath the surface. We never spoke of it, but we all left the lights on. We all walked a little faster down the hallway at night. We sold the house when my dad's company transferred him to Arizona. I had never been so relieved to see a moving truck in my life. Years went by. I went to college, got a job, and tried to bury the memories of that house under the weight of an ordinary life. When I was 25, I was home for Christmas, helping my mom sort through old boxes in the garage of their new Arizona home. We found a dusty photo album, and inside was a picture of me and Leo on the tire swing in front of the Ohio house. "I hated that house," I said quietly, the words slipping out before I could stop them. My mom stopped what she was doing. She looked at the photo, her expression unreadable. "Me too," she whispered. I stared at her. "What? You and Dad always said I was imagining things." She finally met my eyes, and I saw a flicker of the same fear I'd felt as a child. "Your father, he needed to believe that, for all of us. But I saw things, Alex." "What did you see?" "I'd be doing laundry in the basement," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I would hear footsteps on the floor above me, walking back and forth from your room to Leo's, but I knew you were both at school. One time, I was in the kitchen and every single cabinet door swung open at the exact same time, silently." She took a shaky breath. "The worst was a few months before we moved. I woke up in the middle of the night. I thought I heard you call for me. I got up, and went to the doorway. And I saw a man standing in the hall right outside your bedroom door. He was so tall, Alex, so tall and thin. He just stood there, watching your door. I was so scared I couldn't even scream. I just backed into the room and didn't sleep again that night. We've put the house on the market the next week. We stood there in the dusty garage, the Arizona heat, a world away from the chilling dampness of that Ohio house. All those years I thought I was crazy. I thought I was the scared little kid making things up. But I wasn't. My mother's confession didn't bring closure. It just validated the terror, cementing it as a real and tangible part of my past. It was real. The toll man was real. And the scariest part is, we never knew what he wanted. We just ran. Even now, on nights when a storm is rolling in, I'll wake up with my heart racing, and I can almost hear the faint, familiar sound of nails scratching on my closet door.